Welcome to the Plan B CRNA podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Jones, and I'm so excited that you're here. The Plan B CRNA podcast is the only show made specifically for nurse anesthetists who are exploring options outside of their traditional career paths. This is the place to expand your mind and your goals as we uncover new ways to produce side income together. Join me for some honest, unscripted discussions with other CRNAs who are transforming their financial lives. This episode is brought to you by On-Call Capital. On-Call Capital is dedicated to educating CRNAs and other healthcare providers about investing outside of the traditional stock market. On-Call Capital also provides opportunities for you, yes, you, to create passive income and generational wealth while also lowering your taxable income through investments in the apartment and alternative investment spaces. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, make sure you do that right now so that you don't miss an episode. Thanks so much for joining me today. And now, on with the show. Hi, welcome to another episode of the Plan B CRNA podcast. Since the passage of the National 2018 Farm Bill that legalized the sale of CBD products, the industry has been booming. The CBD market exceeded $4 billion in sales in 2019 and is expected to top $25 billion by 2025. My guest today has decided to jump right into this growing market. His name is Devin Shaw, and he's been a CRNA in Tampa, Florida for the past 8 years, with the last 3 of them being as a chief CRNA. His wife is an oncology nurse practitioner, and they have 3 beautiful children. Thanks to his side hustle in the CBD industry, though, he only works 2 days a week, and his wife no longer works at all. That sounds pretty awesome. So let's dive right in. Devin, welcome to the show today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I was super excited to be on here and share, all of the awesomeness that I'm involved in with the CBD industry. So I really appreciate being here.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad to have you. And so, you already have a full-time job, or part-time now, but you have what was a full-time career. So what made you start thinking about pursuing a Plan B?
Yeah. So, honestly, when I was first looking into it, I was chief CRNA. I was also a clinical coordinator at the University of South Florida for their CRNA program here in Tampa. And I had students all the time. And I had a lot of senior students. And I would just find myself, I was a pretty laid back preceptor, to be honest, where I'm letting them get the full experience. And I'm just there like, hey, if you really need me, they made us be in the room. When I was going through school, it was like I was on my own. But for them, I had to be there. And I would just kind of be in the corner. And I just found myself like, almost like wasting time. Like I could be doing something productive. I could be making some extra money. I could be helping people. I could be doing something productive. Mm-hmm. So I really started to look into other avenues to make an extra income. And my wife, who's an oncology nurse practitioner, was telling me all of these amazing stories about CBD and how a lot of her patients, because she primarily deals with breast oncology patients at Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa, about how all of them were like getting off of their gabapentin, or they were getting off their sleep medication, anti-anxiety medication, using the creams for their neuropathies, whatever it was. I was just blown away by it. I didn't really know what CBD was. I just thought it was like a marijuana pill or something like that. I didn't really know. So what I did was just really educate myself on what exactly it was. And once I realized, like what you said, the industry's booming, it just launched. It was something I knew I wanted to be a part of. So that's kind of how it all came together at the beginning of or middle of 2019.
Very cool. So you've only been doing this since the middle of 2019 then?
July 1st was when I basically signed up with this company. And after a year and a half with them, I no longer do anesthesia full time. It was tough to leave because I had so many great friendships, and it's like it was like a family. Like when you're there and with the group for 8+ years, that was kind of the hardest part about doing that. But you got to strike while the iron's hot, ride the wave while I can. So.
Gotcha. So I want to go into a little bit about CBD itself. So what are some of the common myths that you've heard about CBD, and how quickly is the science catching up with some of that hype that you hear?
So like I said, I didn't really know what it was, to be totally honest. And it was really, I just, doing anesthesia, like you and like everyone listening, like you like to research things. And I just went down like this Google rabbit hole for like hours on, what exactly CBD was, like why it was helping with so many people. because it was that farm bill that passed at the end of 2018 that made it federally legal. That's why there's a guy spinning a sign on the street corner. There's billboards everywhere. It's in gas stations. Don't get it there, please, for the love of God. Because it's unregulated, so you have to be really careful. But everyone commonly just associates it with marijuana, when in fact what makes it legal and why it's legal is it has less than 0.3% THC, and it's made from a hemp plant, not a marijuana plant. I always thought hemp and marijuana were the same thing, but those are two totally different plants that are part of the cannabis family, where hemp has high amounts of CBD and low amounts of THC, and THC is what actually creates that psychoactive property to where everyone gets that high. And marijuana has high amounts of THC, low amounts of CBD. So kind of compare like wine and grape juice, they come from grapes, two totally different things, right?
Yeah.
So it's just something that a lot of people don't realize. And so you read about all these things, like when you Google, like, what does CBD help with? And it's from anxiety to stress to pain to trouble sleeping. Diabetics have success with it, people with thyroid issues. And you're just like, how does this one thing help with all of these different things? Well, come to find out, we all have what's called an endocannabinoid system. And this wasn't discovered till about 1993, 1994. I mean, we've read a ton of books in medicine. I have not once ever seen endocannabinoid one time. So it's something that wasn't really researched because of the legal issues. Because back in the early 1900s, when the tobacco industry was roaring, hemp is a very useful plant. It helps a lot with pollution. It can be used for rope, for textiles. You can build so many things with it. And there was the big tobacco companies that really pushed hemp out and lumped it in with marijuana and just made it illegal because they didn't want it infringing upon the tobacco industry. So it was never used. No one ever got to study it because of the legal issues. So as all these legal things started to turn around in the mid 90s in the United States and really all across the world, we were able to study this stuff a lot more. We all have what's called an endocannabinoid system. And this may blow a lot of your minds, and you can Google and you can fact check all that stuff. But you actually have more receptors in your body for CBD than you do anything else. And it's because your endocannabinoid system is integrated into all of your other systems. It's in your cardiovascular system, your lymphatic system, your nervous system, your pulmonary system. It's on your skin. You have so many receptors all over the place. And when you're using CBD, it's helping nourish this system that we already have built into our bodies. And this endocannabinoid system helps create a balance. So let's say you're stressed, you have some anxiety issues or whatever. We always talk about, like in anesthesia, you have excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitters. You have GABA, you have glutamate, one's excitatory, one's inhibitory. A lot of times what's happening when you're feeling that anxiousness, that stress, it's too much glutamate or too little GABA. There's an off balance. And endocannabinoid system is integrated into all of these systems to help create a balance in your body. So when you're using CBD, what it does is it helps either reduce the amount of glutamate or increase the amount of GABA to create that balance in your nervous system. And that's how it helps with a multitude of things, works in your system all throughout. So here we are, and I'm like, well, our bodies were just waiting for this plant to like magically appear and extract some stuff and use it? And like, no. The reason we have your endocannabinoid system is because our bodies produce this stuff. This is what blew me away. The reason we have all this, because we produce two of the main cannabinoids. If you want to go down some Google rabbit holes, anandamide and 2-AG. Those are the two most common ones that we produce. All mammals produce this stuff. So, I think one thing that I happened to research that I was, really blown away by was that it's in breast milk, because I get this a lot of times because moms and ask about children, where it's safe for everyone. It's safe for children, elderly, middle-aged, all male, female, all that stuff. But it's actually produced in breast milk. And come to find out, breastfed babies are typically more calm than bottle-fed babies with formula. And it's due to the amount of anandamide and 2-AG that's produced in breast milk that's given to these children. It's also released when you're meditating or when you get that quote-unquote runner's high. You're working out, you start sweating, you start feeling really good. It's now being found to be less and less of endorphins and actually more of anandamide, which is also called the bliss molecule. So we have this system because we already produce these things. And now here comes this industry that just launched and is projected to just keep growing like crazy. And this is why I'm a part of this, is to educate people, because the amount of people that I've helped with CBD really is the driving force. Like when I have people coming to me, because you know us, like if you do OB, great. Put the epidural in, they get pain relief, they think you're awesome. You're like, sweet, I did a good job. A lot of times, you know, it's like, give them some propofol, they're out, and pack you, they're still snoring, you know, and no one's like, hey, great anesthetic, man, good job. So this has been like a really cool way to help people and also kind of get that feedback. Like I feel like it's a very fulfilling experience when they've had the best sleep they've ever had. And, you know, I had one person who had like a watch that calculated their sleep numbers, that had drastic improvement, so able to quantify it. Or somebody has, you know, much like a lot of help with pain or stress, anxiety. It just aligns so perfectly with what we already do as CRNAs too. We already help people with this stuff. We know this stuff. So it just kind of was a natural fit. Yeah,
it sounds like the science behind it really is aligning with that as well.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of a neat part about all of the discovery process about what CBD can actually do.
For sure.
So, well, so you mentioned that the business itself is largely unregulated. How did you come across the company that you ended up choosing, and why did you choose them? How are they structured? How did you produce income? All those kinds of things.
Right. Yeah. So I actually came across this. There's a Facebook group called like CRNA Side Hustles or something like that. And this is about the time when I was just kind of like looking to doing something else. And somebody just had posted about Green Compass, which is the name of the CBD company. And they're an organic farm to table CBD company. And they're actually USDA certified organic. We are the only USDA certified organic CBD company that you can partner with. And I just happened to click on it, and I was blown away by the business, because I was honestly looking into doing this on more of a wholesale route, where I was looking up some good companies, some organic companies, but I was going to have to buy a ton of products. I was going to have a ton of products sitting on my counter or in my garage. I was able to figure out what to do with them, come up with marketing, come up with a credit card processor, packaging and shipping, all this overhead. And I've never done business. I've never been an entrepreneur before. So it was all a bit daunting to me. So this they were posting about is actually a network marketing company. And I am naturally a very cheap person. I grew up very poor, and I am cheap. I say it, it's true. And I love that you can get into this business less than my wife and I joke that what we paid for our anniversary dinner, and everything is done for you. Literally built this entire business from my phone. I don't have products on hand. It's all done through a link that they make for you. You sign up and you get some products that they send you at a really good discount, but it's just for you to use. It's not for you to sell. So you have an idea of what this stuff is. And then your business is up and running. Like you don't have any overhead. It's all done for you. And I fell in love with that. I was just like, well, this sounds too good to be true. What's the worst that happens, right? Like I spend a few $100s, I get some products. I might help me, might not. That's the worst, right? But then I was thinking, well, what's the best that happens? And I'm kind of living it right now. Like I'm no longer tied to the time clock. I don't have to, I go in to do anesthesia basically to keep up my hours for my credentialing and all that kind of stuff. And because I still enjoy it, but it's the freedom that this kind of business model can provide. And I was always skeptical of it, mainly because I didn't understand it. Just like I didn't understand what CBD was. I thought CBD and marijuana are the same thing. And I thought like network marketing was just kind of like some scam. But honestly, it's a genius business model. And a lot more companies than you know of are actually network marketing companies, whether you're familiar with Spectrum, which is a cable company, or Vivint, a security company. It's all the same business model. And every single one of you that's listening to this, you're all network marketers. A lot of you just don't get paid for it. I have 3 children. And when Disney Plus came out, I have never seen so many network marketers in my life. I had at least 20 people tell me to get Disney Plus. Not one of them was getting paid by Disney. Like that's all it really is. It's just about sharing and about helping people. And it's just a really cool way to, you know, not be in the red right away. After 2 days, I was in the green. Now I'm just like playing with house money. It's like I'm in Vegas and I'm playing with their money because I'm not in the red at all. Where I was talking to a friend of mine who's big in the real estate agent in the real estate investments. And he's like, I'm hemorrhaging money into the real estate to pay these mortgages. I'm like, I know. I'm like, this is a no risk, high reward type business that you can work from your phone. If you got a lot of senior students like I did, it's perfect to have it to where you can work in this business while you're already working. I mean, it's awesome. And this company is just amazing. So like I mentioned, we're the only USDA certified organic CBD company that you can partner with that's in the direct sales space. And I'm big into research. I know a lot of you are too. They're based out of North Carolina. They're partnered with the University of North Carolina. So they're very much at the forefront of all the studies that they're doing regarding CBD, and they are vertically integrated. So what that means is they own every step of the process. So from planting the little seed into the ground until that awesome bottle hits your doorstep, they own the whole thing. There's no middleman. They're not getting their hemp from somewhere. They're not doing the extraction elsewhere. There's no packaging and shit. Everything is done in-house so they can control cost, but most importantly, they can control quality. And that's what they're all about. They're all about creating the highest quality product on the market. And how they actually started was the founder had bad postpartum depression and was offered a CBD product from somebody, and it just helped her so much that she wanted to spread the word. And her husband was CEO of the largest organic sweet potato farming company in the country. They thought hemp was coming around, let's start our own thing, literally making it just for physicians and pharmacies, high quality, like medical grade products. And word got out so quickly that they had to change their business model because of how it was going. Everyone across the country, people wanted to know like how they can get their hands on the product. So they hired a consulting firm on how to do this the right way. And that's what they're doing. They're doing all the right things, and they are super transparent, which if you happen to be watching this, I don't know how that works, but what I love with all their products is they have a QR code on it that I'm showing you right now. So you scan it and it goes right to their third-party lab testing report. So you know exactly what's in it. More importantly, you know exactly what's not in it, because like I mentioned, it's unregulated. Hemp is super absorbent, and actually 80% of the hemp plants used in the United States for CBD are from China, because they've been growing it for so many years to help with their pollution. So of course, they take this nasty stuff and they're like, oh, it became legal in America. They buy everything from us. They send it over here. And now that's where a lot of companies get their hemp from, 80%. And the FDA found that 91% of the CBD products on the market are falsely labeled, meaning that they can put whatever they want in this bottle. They can put whatever they want on the label. They can say organic. They can say anything. It's not regulated. So please don't get it at a gas station. You must be able to get a third-party lab testing report before you try a product. And that's why I love this company. I could honestly speak about it for hours. It's a lot of fun. I have a great passion for just educating people and helping people with what we have. It's a lot more than just the tinctures that go into your tongue, the topicals, skincare stuff. Like it's just fun thing to be a part of.
So how much time do you actually spend on the business? Because you mentioned that like you could talk about this for hours, but how much time do you actually spend on it during the course of a typical day?
Right. So before, when I was working 50 hours a week doing anesthesia, I mean, it was just kind of here and there, you know, like if I had like a few minutes, like during a case, like when the students like doing their thing, like, all right, I'll, reach out to some people or, follow up with some people that had talked about it. And then I started to do some presentations in the evening, but what's awesome is that they have all the tools for everyone to be successful. Like you don't have to know all this stuff. Like I even have videos you just share with me, like they have the same thing. They have a ton of videos that are just super helpful in, helping you be the messenger, not the message. You don't have to be an expert. In fact, one of my friends, she's a stay-at-home mom, and she didn't know a thing about CBD or anything like that. I mean, she makes like 60 grand a month. I'm like, it's just ridiculous.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. And it's only 2 years old. Like 5-10 years from now, like it's just exploding. It's a lot of fun, but we have all the tools to help everyone be successful. So you don't need as much time as you think. Now this is more of a full-time gig, right? Like now I only do anesthesia a couple days a week. Yeah. So I have full days where I am doing things to support my team, to support the customers, to build my own business, all those kinds of things. This is becoming more of my full-time. So now it's more of a full-time thing. But at first it was just like 5-6 hours a week here and there. But it's fun. I just talked to the surgeons about it. And that was what was cool, because I knew the surgeons, I mean, you know how it is, like they know everything.
Sure.
They clearly, they have no clue about any of this stuff. So it was awesome because I would talk to the surgeon and ask if they offer CBD to their patients, all this stuff. And they would just, not know much about it. As soon as I started educating the surgeon, everyone else is paying attention to me.
Absolutely.
And the circulators, the scrub techs, they all want to be a part of this. They all want an extra income. I mean, I think COVID kind of proved that. I don't know about all the other anesthesia providers out there, but I got my salary cut. I have plenty of friends that were furloughed. Having a side hustle, having income insurance that way, I mean, it's so important. And having a virtual business is even better. It's not like you have a brick and mortar and then all of a sudden the government's be like, yeah, no one can go in there. So
yeah,
it's all virtual. So it's great.
Cool. So what's been the most challenging aspect of this business then? Certainly you've had success to this point, but there's got to be some hurdles along the way.
Oh, for sure. There always is. I mean, it's a big learning curve, right? I've never done this before. I have never done public speaking. I've never sold a thing in my life. So I was really, had a hard time with that at first. But once I just took an educational platform, I didn't even think about selling anything. All I wanted to do was educate people and let them know how this can help them. Success just kind of followed. But at first I thought I had to be like the car salesman, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just what you think. Like, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Nobody wants to be that guy.
No, and nobody likes those people. So yeah. once I figured out, like, I just really need to educate people and being a CRNA, there's such a huge advantage in this industry because no one knows what it is. But, when I speak to it, people are like, oh, well, if Devin's talking about it like this, then this must be legit. So it's just a big advantage that I really figured out once I took an educational platform. The success just kind of followed. But it was really hard at first, just trying to feel like I can get out of my comfort zone to even talk about it. And then it's just breaking the stigma. That's, everyone, you get the comments of, oh yeah, he's the neighborhood drug dealer or whatever, which I think is hilarious. Like, I would never get offended by anything. But people have, but it's just due to lack of education, and that's where I get to educate them. It's fun.
Cool. So what do the next 5 to 10 years look like for you then in this business?
It is just, it's exploding so much now that, the next 5 to 10 years is going to be it's going to be something special, because I actually had a chance to meet the owners and founders of this company about 2.5 weeks ago. I got to fly to Wilmington, North Carolina, which is where their headquarters is, and talked with them. And what was great was when I talked to the owner, he was like, the FDA has come to us to know exactly what we are doing to maintain such high quality and standards for all of our products. So that way they can create regulations based on what we are already doing. And that's going to be even more huge for Green Compass and everyone that's a part of it, because so many of the other companies are going to get pushed out because they're doing all the bad things and people can be harmed by those things. So it is going to continue to explode. And we're Green Compass Global, and we haven't even gone global yet. Like, these companies, once you go into other countries and start expanding, I had no idea how big network marketing was. Mm-hmm. I very much just thought this was something stay-at-home moms did, and they'd sell eyelashes or whatever it was. I had no idea. I'm just being
Avon honest. And Tupperware.
Yeah, like, right. I just didn't know. And back in the day, like, it was only a few people making money. Everyone is making money. It is a smart business. And if you were to take all of the money that's made in the NFL, put that in one bucket, take all of the money that's made in the music industry, put that in the same bucket, all of the money that's made in the movie industry, put that in the same bucket. Network marketing is still bigger. I didn't realize how big this business can be.
Yeah.
When you're able to get a piece of a company that just launched, that's also in an industry that just started, the potential is limitless. It's unbelievable. It's super fun to be a part of. But yeah, this is special for sure.
Well, I think that's one of the things that when I launch my rabbit hole episode on, the network marketing idea, that's one of the key things is getting into a business when it's first getting rolling. And that's how you can really maximize your potential, your earning potential with that business. So what is your advice for anybody looking to get into this booming market?
Don't wait. That's my advice. It's not going to be ground floor forever.
Yeah.
We as CRNAs are natural educators, and this is a perfect opportunity to be a part of something that nobody knows about, where we have all the tools and everything to help you educate yourself, but also educate friends, family, potential customers or business partners, whatever it is. And there's no reason to wait. I mean, even like with this company, like even getting started is like nothing. And then you have your own business, right? So this is what blew me away. Is now I have my own business that now I write off my phone bill and my internet bill and the miles I drive, my office space, you know, all of these awesome things. It almost like pays for itself just to get started. And it's a lot of fun. So my biggest advice is that even if you're even considering it, and maybe it's a different company in network marketing, whatever it is, I mean, you just have to go for it, because I always say that doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. You just have to try it. You have to go for it. Because what haunts me to this day is I could have easily said no. I looked at it, I looked into it, pondered it. You're not like donating a kidney here, right? Like that's what
Right.
that's what I was acting like, until my wife was like, "What's the worst that happens? We just spent more than that on our anniversary dinner." I could have easily said no, and you know, I'd still be living my CRNA life, and that was good. But I was, you know how it can be. You can get beat down, and it's, you know, a lot of hours. You're stuck in the OR, all that. There's a whole other life out there. You can do so much good as a CRNA. You have so much potential that you just need to jump, and then you find your wings on the way down.
Yeah. It's so easy to let the fear of the unknown get in the way of, you know, even higher success. So I think that's just fantastic advice. Don't wait. Just get into it. So, Devin, this has been great. And I want to make sure that our listeners can get a hold of you in the future if they have questions or want to just find out more information about your business. So how can they get a hold of you?
Right. Yeah. Social media is a great way. Whether you just look for me on LinkedIn, Devin Shaw, or on Instagram. My Instagram name is the Devin Shaw, kind of like the Ohio State. Sounds ridiculous. I get that. But it's just simple. It's easy to read. And then on Facebook as well. And you can also email me at thedevinshaw@gmail.com. So any of those ways, and I know no one's going to take me up on this offer, but I'll throw my phone number out there too. It's 813-480-5669. And text me anytime. I'm honestly an open book when it comes to all of this. It's a lot of fun, and I look forward to hearing and helping anyone out with it for sure.
Well, this has been fantastic. And, thanks for coming on, Devin. That's going to do it for us today. I hope you'll join me next time on the Plan B CRNA podcast. Another fantastic interview. Devin has so much energy and his attitude is infectious. He exemplifies two of the mantras I preach when looking at network marketing: a desire to help people with the products you sell and getting in early. With CBD growth just getting started, he's sure to find more success in his business in the coming years. That's going to do it for us today. I hope you'll join us next time on the Plan B CRNA podcast. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Plan B CRNA podcast. If you haven't already subscribed and reviewed the show, I'd be honored if you took the extra time. It really helps to expand our reach and get the word out about the show. If you're a CRNA who is interested in sharing your story on our podcast, I'd love to have you. Please email me at bobby@oncallinvestments.com for more information. This episode was brought to you by OnCall Capital. They are dedicated to helping providers like you develop passive income and generational wealth through investments in the apartment and alternative investment spaces. Feel free to check out their website at www.oncallinvestments.com and subscribe to their free educational email series. You can find OnCall Capital on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also check out our YouTube page, where you'll find all of the show episodes along with other educational videos. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.